Are ultra-wide monitors really better for racing? Well, to find out, BenQ have sent me this beast. It's the EX3415R. It's a 3440 by 1440, 21:9, 34-inch monitor with 144Hz capabilities. Now, I've had this for a couple of weeks, but I've genuinely not used it for racing yet. I've just been using it on my desk, so I'm well used to the monitor. I well know its capabilities now, but for the first time, it's going to be time to put it in my rig. So there at the moment, I've just got a 16:9, 60Hz monitor. So this should be quite a big upgrade. So let's get it installed. Let's find out if it's an upgrade on the track. Here we go then, a big beautiful ultra-wide monitor in front of me. I'm genuinely excited to try this in racing because I've genuinely never done it before despite having this monitor for a couple of weeks. Now, first of all, you will notice not all games adapt that well to the ultra-wide, although this game is set to use the perfect resolution, which most games will use the correct resolution. But some of the menus and stuff will just have black bars. I mean, they just haven't bothered to design, not bothered, that's too harsh a word, but they haven't designed everything to work. Majority of people, particularly console players of course, do use the 16:9, but that gives you a great idea of exactly where 16:9, and there you go. As soon as we get into the game, we get the full lovely width, and look how expansive that is. Let's get involved then straight away with some racing. So I want to jump straight in here with, of course, a game that I know very well. Starting on pole though, unfortunately. We'll lose a brief black bars once again there. We'll lose a couple of positions on the start, but look how wide it is. We can just see so much more, actually. Normally, the game does stop sort of here, as you saw before. They have moved, so I haven't changed any settings. They have moved all of the interface to be over, which is good. That's of course more on the game developers than the monitor, but it's just trying to show you that the game is fairly well, or the resolution I should say, is fairly well supported. And definitely can see more. I would say at the moment it's adding to my immersion into the game. I mean, obviously triple monitors kind of do that to a more extreme extent because you have almost like windows either side, don't you? But I mean, pretty sure I wouldn't be able to see that Ferrari right now if I was not on ultra wide. And this is definitely pretty intense. I just feel like it wraps around me so much more. I feel like I'm just a bit more involved with the game rather than feeling like I'm just sort of got a little window into it. I feel like I'm just much more involved with it. Now let's see if we can catch up with these guys to do a little bit of battling to see if we can actually get a bit of a feel for it. So as I said, all the UI's moved over, which is probably a good thing. In this game you can adjust the UI, but of course in a lot of games you can't, so I'll be interested to see how it is across a couple of different games by default. Doesn't mean of course I have to look slightly further over to see everything, but to be honest that's not the end of the world. Actually struggling to catch Vettel a bit here. Trying to get a good feel for it. And I obviously haven't adjusted anything else. This is the same height and everything my old monitor was. My old monitor was actually 4K, so this is technically more. We're going to dive bomb Vettel here. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I can feel when he's going to hit me a bit more because I could see his wheels still digging into me when it was sort of here somewhere. Whereas before, I wouldn't have been able to see that. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to show you the remote. So this monitor does come with a remote, which is quite rare for a monitor, and I like that it comes with a remote. So you can do everything on this remote, and it's actually a lot easier to do so. It's also got built-in speakers, but I'm not going to use those. They're not bad for being built-in speakers, but they're also going to be nothing on an external speaker or a headset. So what I'm going to do straight away is I'm going to go. So I've been using sRGB mode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to racing mode. There we go, racing game, to see how different the colours are. I'll tell you what, that is actually really different. So this is actually the default profile that the monitor comes with. The racing game colour profile. And it's really a lot richer. A lot richer. It's really, I mean, I'm not a monitor expert by any means, but it's really sort of saturated the colours a lot more. And everything seems a bit more blue. And a lot stronger colours. Definitely a lot stronger colours. Look at that crowd up there. That is, I don't not normally notice the colours in that. Also the off-track area there, the red area. Really strong colours there. And so this is the default profile you get. I've been using sRGB because I've been using it as a regular kind of editing / desk monitor for now. Got a bit of DRS here. So once again, let's go a bit further over from Gasly. He's got DRS as well, so we're not really going to get past him. He's squeezing us here. Look at the red of the tyres as well with this motor. And again, this blue out here, very rich colours and actually really quite nice. I guess it depends if you like really rich colours or not, but definitely prefer this. I will say, definitely do prefer being on ultra wide for racing. Obviously, it gives you you know, more width. I mean, that's, you know, you'd have known that before you even click on this video. It gives you more width. You can see more. You can battle better. That is definitely beneficial. Of course, it is more pixels than a regular 16:9. Actually, before though, I was running on a on a 4K monitor, so actually this is less pixels than I was running before. So I'm able to run nicely at 144 Hz, the maximum monitor resolution. That feels nice as well, really smooth. So if you are running on a 60 Hz monitor at the moment, that's quite wide. If you're running on a 60 Hz monitor at the moment, this does feel a lot smoother. But again, I want to try and concentrate on the ultra wide of this monitor. Although it's not unique to this monitor, it's definitely its main selling point, I would say. The fact that it is ultra wide, but as of course got solid specs other than that. Okay, here we go. Let's see where it's going to get spicy then. So I wouldn't be able to see Alonso right now. That's nice and beneficial. I was hoping we're going to be 3 wide, but I don't think that's quite going to happen. We might get alongside Stroll here though. Again, I could just feel where... Oh god, he squeezed me a bit. I could feel where everyone is there. So there, I knew he was going to hit me there. I would not have known that without being on an ultra-wide monitor. I would not have been able to see that. There's no way. So definitely a lot more immersive. You can see more. I do believe you could race better just purely because you can see more. But the immersion is by far and away the biggest part. Really, it's wrapping around me and it's making me feel much more like I'm more connected to the game. I'm not going to say connected to the car because, you know, the wheel and stuff is a lot more important for that sort of thing. But definitely feel a lot more connected to the game, a lot more involved. So let's give it a go on a different game then. A game I play quite regularly. iRacing. I do play that probably for, well, 5 or 10 hours a week actually for the last couple of weeks. So quite a bit, so I can hopefully give a good comparison on that as well to try just a bit of a different game and see how that handles this ultra-wide monitor. So here we go then, some iRacing. First thing that strikes me is the amount of colour. Once again, really bright colours on this particular mode. Let's get out on track here. Phillip Island Circuit, one of my favourites for this car, certainly. And what I will say is with iRacing as standard, what it has done is zoomed us in. So iRacing obviously is very much a sim, which usually means you've got to do your own settings. And what it has done is it's zoomed us in. This isn't any wider than what I'm used to. So then what it's done is give me the same width as the 21:9, but then it's effectively zoomed us in, so we're missing bits off the top and bottom, which obviously is not what we want to do. So let's try again. This time let's change our field of view. There we go. That's now changed our field of view to 100 degrees. That feels like about more what it should be like. Been able to actually see more. I'm sure there'll be lots of sim racing people shouting at me in the comments saying that's not how you do your field of view. You should do it, calculate it this way. But this feels, oh god, this feels a bit more like where it should be in my opinion. I can see all of the mirrors, although they're effectively useless because this just shows me that if I can adjust my mirrors maybe in iRacing. But I can see my mirrors, and presumably if I adjusted them I'd actually be able to see behind me. And again, just feels a bit more involved. It's a bit wider, and obviously even though I had to manually adjust my field of view, you can get away with a wider field of view because of the ultra wide. You effectively don't want to lose any top and bottom, but then add some on the side, don't you? But that just shows you some games don't adapt immediately. Some games, again, it is a simulator, so I'm hesitating slightly because I'm aware that you're supposed to, not supposed to, but simulators always work like that. You always have to play with them a bit. But some games will genuinely do that. One that springs to mind is League of Legends, actually. I don't play that really anymore, but League of Legends is one that will not allow you to see more than any other player. So what it'll actually do is zoom you in slightly, I believe. I could be wrong on that one, but some games you don't actually get an advantage. But this honestly doesn't feel that much different. Not compared to F1. That might be because it needs a further setup perhaps. But at the moment, it's honestly not that much different. I am only running at 60 FPS to be fair, which is probably not helping that much. But it genuinely does feel smoother than my old monitor despite only running at 60. Perhaps that's the FreeSync kicking in. But yes, I mean, I do believe I can see further, definitely. I don't think I could see here before, below that mirror there. Slightly beneficial, but I will say the impact's definitely less on iRacing. Feel like it needs more tweaks. Now that may be useful information for some of you guys that don't want to sit here tweaking, but then again, you may not be bothered with iRacing if you don't want to sit here tweaking. But hopefully the more mainstream games do just naturally work. What I'm going to try next is actually some Rocket League, a little bit different. Not technically racing, I'm not going to be using my wheel, but that is very much an esports game. And I want to see whether that naturally just takes in the resolution and just works, or whether it kind of zooms us in. That'll hopefully give us a good idea of an esports level game to see how it works with Ultrawide. Here we go then on Rocket League, and of course we've got the F1 car. One thing that strikes me once again is just the colours. They're really, really rich. I don't know, I'm no expert, but it does feel a bit too rich. But there's loads of colour modes here. RPG, FPS, Display HDR, Cinema HDR, Game HDR, E-Paper, black and white, M-Book, and then sRGB. So you can see why we're on sRGB, because it feels a bit more natural to me. It feels a bit more like a normal monitor, like there's not much being played around with, and it just is what it is. But when you go to the game mode again, it's just so rich. It really brings out the colours, which, again, depending on what you like, I suppose. But I'm going to keep it on game mode, racing game mode for now, as this is a racing game review, although I know we're on Rocket League. Let's just jump into some training here then, and see how we get on. So, and yeah, I mean, clearly Rocket League has adapted incredibly well. It's everything, all the UI is at the sides, and it's running nicely. We can definitely see quite a lot more. Really quite a lot more. Yeah, I mean, this game is adapted as good as F1, and in fact, better than F1, because all the menus work fine in this full screen mode. Everything works in full screen. Yeah, okay, sometimes there's gaps, but it doesn't matter. The background can just stretch. It doesn't have to fit perfectly. The item shop, that's quite a similar thing. The settings, again, they're in the middle. Looks like they've absolutely nailed the adaptation, if I'm being honest. Again, they're leaving gaps, but it doesn't really matter. It's really adaptable. They've done really well with this interface. So it does definitely seem then some games work better than others. Some games adapt like that, like this game. It just works. That's one thing to be mindful of if you are getting this, or not necessarily this screen, but a ultra-wide monitor. If you are looking, oh god, I'm concentrating on Rocket League now. I need to be concentrating on talking about the monitor. If you are getting one, some games won't just work. Some games you have to tweak. Other games like this one will just work like that. It isn't perfect. The vast majority of people are on 16:9 monitors, to be fair. Hey, definitely for racing games, for a lot of games, it adds a lot of real estate. It makes it so you can see more. But the biggest difference to me that took me a little bit by surprise is the immersion. It's obviously curved. It wraps around me more. It surrounds more of my peripheral vision and really immerses me in the game better, which is over and above the obvious being able to see more. So, are ultra-wide monitors better for racing? Well, the short answer is yes, they are. There was the obvious benefit of being able to see more at the side, so you can literally see your rivals more. But I got the surprising benefit of being so much more immersed. I mean, obviously when you're driving a real car, you're completely immersed. It's all around you. There's windows everywhere. And it just added to that. It just widened your personal field of view. It consumed your own personal field of view a little bit more, and I genuinely just felt a bit more connected to the game, which was more immersive. I mean, surely we're all playing racing games, especially with the wheel, because you want to be immersed. So I was actually really impressed, and I definitely think ultra monitors are better for racing. Will I use one for racing on my rig? Actually, personally, no, but that is just me because I'm a content creator. As I already touched on in the video a few times, the vast majority of people use 16:9 monitors, so all my content will be in 16:9. It's a lot easier for me to to record in 16:9 because everything's perfectly in scale, ready for video editing, ready for streaming. That is the only reason, though, for content creator requirements. If I was only playing for pure enjoyment, wasn't recording, didn't care about streaming, anything like that, I would definitely use that ultra monitor on this rig instead of this 4K monitor. It definitely was better, and definitely if you're into your racing, you're into your rigs, I would suggest an ultra wide monitor. I can't directly compare it to triples, but triple monitors is a lot of pixels, and actually they come to sort of right back here. And realistically, yes, you're even more immersed, but are those pixels important? I would say a single monitor potentially might be better for you. Definitely ultra wide monitors for racing. It's a yes from me. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.